Well, good morning. It is September 2nd, 2020, in the year of our Lord. Thank you ever so much for popping on to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. We are thrilled that you are joining us this glorious day. We are here in Central Florida, and I heard first thing this morning that the heat index today is going to be somewhere between 105 and 110 at points. Someone should have said, "Oh yes, the temperature today will be the surface of the sun. Dress appropriately." Good gracious. So if you're living in the area, listen, your AC can't keep up. Our ACs can't keep up with 105 and 110. We just set it at 77 and do the very best you can today. Drink a lot of fluids, everybody. Stay hydrated. Try to stay out of the direct sunlight. Do the best you can. It's all going to be good. It's all going to be over soon. All right. There are a couple of things, and this is going to be a little different today. A couple of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about some of the things that we're seeing, obviously, and I want to talk about how the left views what we're seeing today, because I think that's really very, very important. Because it's weird as heck. It's just weird. Don't you think it's weird? I mean, things are just weird. We're being asked to not see exactly what we're seeing, to not believe exactly what we already believe to be true, that we're seeing is true. And it's been going on for a while, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about in that same vein, a video that I posted on my Facebook page a couple of times this morning. Well, actually, just for giggles, actually one time. That's been fact-checked, and what that looks like. How that worked out or didn't really work out, and I want you to see it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we are going to talk about the most dangerous people in America. The most dangerous people in America to America. When we get back from these messages, thank you ever so much for showing up at the Morning Report this morning. Again, my name is Will Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. We'll be back right after this.
This is your brother, Antone Tucker, better known as Tony X. The reason why you see people outside and upset is because they were led to be that way. The main goal of the liberal today is to make sure that the black feels disenfranchised because they're the ones doing it to you. And they also make sure that your white conservative brothers and sisters feel powerless to talk to you. Black history isn't in the school books. Who do you think started the educational system that is currently brainwashing our children? Jimmy Carter's administration. Why is it that when Obama was in office for 8 years, he didn't get prison reform done? See, I see people saying Trump's racist, but I see that prison reform was done. Over 90,000 black and brown brothers and sisters coming home from prison. I see opportunity zones up and running. Think about it. Black historical colleges, the most funding they've ever had in history, and it came from Donald Trump. For the politicians that think that it's okay to defund police officers, to make sure that the officers within these communities can't do their jobs, shame on you. And as a new leader, I'm going to tell all the leaders coming up, it's time for us to stand up and lead. Thank you for taking the time listening to me. God bless you.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America. The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the US average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed the Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walked the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. But they don't want to see it. They don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police office, it's going to be worse than that. So no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
It's not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020. Name a blue city where Black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait. Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here? Democrats think Black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever, that we won't demand better and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right? I'm Kim Klacik, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters. And Black people don't have to vote Democrat.
All right. Well, welcome back. We appreciate you being here. Something that I wanted to talk to you about because I thought it was, I think it's partially humorous, but it really exposes what's actually going on social media. In this particular instance, Facebook in particular, especially with all the fact-checking stuff. And this whole idea that the left wants you right now, right this very minute, to not see what you're seeing, to not believe what you're seeing, to not believe what you're actually hearing. So if you see the place on the reporter on fire, they want you not to see that. Things were mostly peaceful. Well, except for this place back here that's on fire. Other than that, things are fine. And this is one, and this is not quite as in your face as that, but really silly. I posted a clip from the Stephen Colbert late night program, an interview he did with Kamala Harris, and he was asking her about the riots, and there didn't seem to be much media coverage on the riots, and she's smiling the whole time. But she says in the clip that the riots will continue. The riots will continue after the election even, and they should. And she's good with it. So I post that. And of course, you know exactly what I get, right? So after that, I actually click on the rest of it. I want to find out why the fact checkers want me to believe that something that I heard with my own ears, saw with my own eyes, is somehow false. So I click on this is why this is partially false. And here's what I got. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And then when I saw that I could refresh the screen, I refreshed the screen, and I waited, and I waited. right now, this screen that you just saw is on my desktop right now. I'm waiting for something to pop up still on why this particular clip got fact checked. What's wrong with it? What's partially false? What is partially false? USA Today. USA Today was the fact checker. So I'm wondering what was so false about it. What is it that Kamala Harris said that I'm not supposed to believe that she actually said? That this is not a can. This is actually some sort of racist tool developed by Donald Trump to convince the masses to be violent. Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Oh, it's just a can. And she said what she said. And now they're trying to walk it back. Here's the deal. The left will never be able now, the Democrat Party especially, will never be able to walk back where they are now. Which is why it's just balls to the walls at this point. It's full steam ahead on communism, socialism, anarchy, because they don't have anything else at this point. And they are continuing to try to swing the bat of racism because it's something that has been mildly effective for the past 50 years or so, which is why you're seeing so much of it. Because this is, unfortunately, I believe this is the end, or fortunately, depending on your viewpoint, the end of the Democrat Party as we know it, for sure. And they know they're losing. And if they can produce a scorched earth strategy in their loss, that's a benefit for what I'm going to call for them the remnant, people that are left over, if there are any in this country. And that is what we're seeing. And this is what we're seeing. And it's been coming for a while. It's been coming for a while. It shouldn't, I know it surprises a lot of you, but it really shouldn't surprise any of you that this has been coming for a while. All I can do is suggest that we pray and that we work. Faith without works is dead. That we go to the polls, that we work the polls, that we, if we're not working the polls or voting necessarily, if you've already early voted in person, then go and document as much as you can at the polls this year. Document as much as you can. Document as much as you can around the supervisor of elections or the people who handle elections in your town. Document as much as you can. Get as much on the record as you can. One of the things that we're going to be doing here at fightbackmedia.com is that we're going to be asking you to send us your clips, your videos, your interviews with as many people as you can, and we're going to post them on our website. We're going to get us a repository of documentation as much as we can of this election. We need you to be America's eyes and ears on this election. It's a hyperbolic statement that this is the most important election of our times, but unfortunately, yes, it has come to that. It's come to that. So that's what we're doing here at fightbackmedia.com. We're looking to have everybody we can, get some cell phone video out and get it to us. Get it to us. Because putting it up on Facebook or trying to put it up on YouTube, they're going to pull that crap down as quickly as they can. We are in a post-truth society at this point. We weren't worrying about fact-checking until the truth got out, right? So this is super important that we need you to do. My email address is wls860@gmail.com. wls860@gmail.com. Or you can just send it to fightbackmedia@gmail.com. How about that? That easier? Fightbackmedia@gmail.com. Looking forward to seeing all your videos. Looking forward to seeing all of your emails. Looking forward to seeing exactly what you see where you are. We'll be back right after these messages.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
That's it right there. Pull it up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Welcome back. What we're also seeing here in 2020 is possibly the end of a dynasty, a political dynasty. In the Senate race in Massachusetts between Joe Kennedy, Representative Joe Kennedy of the Kennedy fame, named after his grandfather, I guess, great-grandfather, I'm guessing. Incumbent Senator Ed Markey was set up as a fight that pitted the establishment Democrats against the progressive left. It gave Kennedy a chance to make history, but not in a good way. If he lost, he'd be the first Kennedy in the Commonwealth to lose a race. And that's exactly what happened. Kennedy conceded to Markey hours after the polls closed when the senator had 54% of the vote to his 46% of the vote. He told supporters he'd already called to congratulate Markey and pledge his support to him and his campaign in the months ahead. Acknowledging that it was a heated race, he said, good elections often are. Markey is a good man, he argued. You have never heard me say otherwise. The president, you gotta love him. He tweeted this: "See, even a Kennedy isn't safe in the new radical left Democrat Party. Taxes up big, no Second Amendment. Biden has completely lost control. Pelosi strongly backed the loser." The Blaze tweeted, "It's the first time a Kennedy has lost in the state ever." So the point is that if you have the mind that this is the same thing, this is the same Kennedys, this is the same Democrat Party, that this is the same, and the difference is Trump, you're wrong. Love y'all, but you're wrong. If you think that this is the same back and forth, and the Democrat Party is the same as it's always been, and they're for the little man, and they're for all the stuff, and you're a Kennedy Democrat, you're on the wrong side of history. This election sort of proves it. Kind of proves it. At least shows that maybe you should rethink something. If you're thinking that Camelot was the ultimate, then maybe you should look at this a little differently now. Maybe the new Democrat Party that you're supporting against the president is not the Democrat Party that you think you're supporting, and that's not done by accident. Maybe. I already got one more segment to go, and we'll get back right after this.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America. The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the U.S. average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed the Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walked the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. If they don't want to see it, they don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police office, it's going to be worse than that. So no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
It's not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020. Name a blue city where Black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait. Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here? Democrats think Black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever, that we won't demand better, and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right? I'm Kim Klasick, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters. And Black people don't have to vote Democrat.
Good morning. Again, thanks for coming. I'm just having a sip of my delicious coffee, Dunkin' Donuts coffee, out of my my new favorite mug. You can see that. You can't too much. It says, "I love the smell of jet fuel in the morning." My favorite YouTuber, PremierOneDriver.com. Check out his stuff. And we've got somebody else that we want me to check out at the end of the program. So fast forward to there if you want to. If you don't want to, if you want to see this, if you want to see or hear this part, but definitely don't leave until I tell you about boom. Okay. All right. Who are the most dangerous people in America today? It's not LeBron James. LeBron James is one of the loudest people because he's got a lot of money. It's not Rosie O'Donnell. It's not Oprah Winfrey. It isn't. It's not even Joe Biden, or even Kamala Harris, or AOC, or Nancy Pelosi. Even when she gets her hair done, did you see that? She got her hair done. She went to a salon in California, although they're not supposed to be open. Rules for thee, but not for me. But in any case, the most dangerous people in America are white millennials, college-educated millennials, who are participating. And I put some pictures up of some of the people that I'm talking about. When you see pictures of Antifa, you see video of Antifa, what you see is a lot of chicks. It's amazing how many chicks you see. And somehow that thinks that they're going to keep them from getting punched in the face when they run up on some redneck holding an American flag, and they try to pull it out of their hand, that they're not going to get punched in the face. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you kind of asked for it. All right. So there's the deal. So this is the people that you see: white, college-educated millennials. Most of them I'm guessing, have degrees in history, women's study, international race relations, all crap that only gets you in the door at Starbucks as a barista. When did we start calling people who make pour coffee, baristas? What the hell is that? Anyway, these are the most dangerous people in America right now. And a lot of you paid for their education. A lot of you, their big jack-booted feet sit under your dinner table and call you a fascist, and call you a fascist for supporting Donald Trump. And I know you love your children. It's hard not to love your children. But I'm one of those teachers who would tell you, oh, by the way, yeah, I know you love your kids, but they're out of control. I can't have them in my classroom because they cause so much destruction in my classroom. And I know you love them and they're your darlings, but I can't have them in my room. I must call it out where I see it. It's the only safe thing to do for everybody else. And some of y'all kids are completely out of control. Yes, there are some black people mixed up in that. The majority of these people are white people. They're using the BLM brand, and they're being helped by people like LeBron James and Oprah Winfrey. But the nuts and bolts of this is socialism, communism, and anarchy. That's what we're up against. Please make sure that you understand that. Please make sure that you fight back in ways that matter. All right, before we go today, I want to tell you about some people that Paul found these folks. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. And I have been communicating with them. They are an apparel company. Boom. And they are producing some what I call pushback clothing, pushing back the liberal narrative, pushing back the progressive, dangerous narrative in clothing choices. And I want to share some of that stuff with you. Hang on a second.
This is your brother, Antone Tucker, better known as Tony X. The reason why you see people outside and upset is because they were led to be that way. The main goal of the liberal today is to make sure that the black feels disenfranchised because they're the ones doing it to you. And they also make sure that your white conservative brothers and sisters feel powerless to talk to you. Black history isn't in the school books. Who do you think started the educational system that is currently brainwashing our children? Jimmy Carter's administration. Why is it that when Obama was in office for 8 years, he didn't get prison reform done? See, I see people saying Trump's racist, but I see that prison reform was done. Over 90,000 black and brown brothers and sisters coming home from prison. I see opportunity zones up and running. Think about it. Black historical colleges, the most funding they've ever had in history, and it came from Donald Trump. For the politicians that think that it's okay to defund police officers, to make sure that the officers within these communities can't do their jobs, shame on you. And as a new leader, I'm going to tell all the leaders coming up, it's time for us to stand up and lead. Thank you for taking your time listening to me. God bless you.
Well, thank you again for coming to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson, and the Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. Check us out on the website. Send in your videotape of all the things that you see on Election Day and before. Send us stories and clips. We'd love to hear from you about what you hear about mail-in ballots and how that's going where you live. You are the eyes and ears of the Republic. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.